Have you ever built a prison with your own promises? It's late at night. The air in your room feels thick with heavy regret. You look up into the dark and whisper a vow that feels as solid as stone. Never again. I swear. This is the absolute last time. In that exact moment, you mean it with every fiber of your being. You feel a sudden surge of synthetic strength. You make it through Monday. Tuesday is a quiet victory. Wednesday feels stable, but then Thursday arrives. You get tired, you feel lonely, or an unexpected wave of stress crashes over you. Before you even realize the battle has begun, the trap snaps shut. You fall again. The exact same trigger, the exact same choice, the exact same crushing failure. But this time, the emotional hangover hits differently. It's no longer just a sharp sting of guilt. It is a cold, hollow numbness. A cruel, quiet voice starts whispering in the back of your mind. If you were actually changed, you wouldn't still be trapped here. You're just a fraud playing a part. Let's pause and look at the laws of nature. If you throw a dead, lifeless branch into a rushing river, it doesn't struggle against the environment. It floats downstream, perfectly at peace with the mud, going wherever the current dictates. It never fights the flow. Only an organism that is fundamentally alive experiences the exhaustion of swimming upstream. The very fact that you are hurting, the very reality that you hate this behavioral loop, is absolute proof of internal life. People who are spiritually dead don't declare war on their dark habits. They sign peace treaties with them. But you are still bleeding in the center of the ring. And war is an incredibly messy, lemmy business. Why is it that you desperately want to stop, yet the bad habit keeps winning the chess match? It's because you are operating on a flawed strategy, behavioral management instead of heart displacement. Every morning, you wake up and put all your energy into defensive rules. Don't look at it. Don't click it. Don't think about it. But the law of human psychology is simple. Whatever you focus on, you automatically amplify in your subconscious mind. If I tell you right now, whatever you do not think about a bright red sports car. What immediately fills the screen of your mind? A red car. Willpower is a finite battery. It drains every single time you deal with a difficult boss, a stressful deadline, or an exhausting day. When your battery hits zero, your old neural pathways take total control of the system. You cannot push darkness out of a room using a shovel. You can sweat for 12 hours trying to scoop the shadows into a bucket, and you will achieve nothing but exhaustion. The only way to eliminate darkness is to introduce a light source. The light doesn't fight the dark. It simply occupies the space, displacing it entirely. You don't stop a toxic habit because you hate the consequences. You stop it when you discover something you love more than the habit. But right now, you are too busy drowning in guilt to leave any room for grace. Let me share a story about a man named Julian. Julian was an exceptionally brilliant structural engineer, but whenever professional pressure threatened to collapse his world, he retreated into severe, compulsive online gambling. Every morning after a devastating financial loss, Julian would undergo a ritual of intense self-loathing. He would drive to work in complete silence, skip lunch, and refuse to smile. He truly believed that making himself miserable was a form of penance, a currency to pay back his moral debt. One night, after losing a massive amount of money, Julian parked his car on a lonely cliffside overlook. He sat in the dark for 4 hours, ignoring his phone as it buzzed with texts from his worried family. He thought, I am too dirty to walk through my front door. I need to sit in this isolation until I am clean enough to face them. What Julian didn't realize was that his self-imposed isolation wasn't humility. It was a profound act of pride. He was setting himself up as his own judge and executioner, deciding that his personal suffering was required to clear the ledger. But here is the psychological twist. Destructive habits thrive in isolation, and shame is the very mechanism that keeps the lights turned off. By cutting himself off from love and connection, Julian drained the only source of healing he had left. 3 days later, exhausted and lonely from his own self-punishment, the stress became unbearable again, and his brain craved the exact same escape route. There is an ancient, beautiful piece of wisdom that addresses this exact state of fragility. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. You are that smoldering wick right now, smoking, messy, and barely alive. Rigid legalism and your inner critic look at you and say, extinguish it, it's useless and hypocritical. But true grace knows how to gently cup its hands around that fragile, smoking spark, protecting it from the harsh winds of despair until it can. The most critical moment of your transformation does not happen when you are standing strong. It happens in the first 60 seconds after you fall. Your biological programming will scream at you. Run away and hide. Fix this problem on your own. Get clean for 2 weeks, and then you can return to your goals or your community. That is completely upside down. You are trying to clean yourself up before you step into the shower. True growth is not a flawless, perfect straight line. True progress is when you are limping, your knees scraped and your pride shattered, but you are still limping forward. When a toddler is learning how to walk, they will inevitably take 3 wobbling steps and collapse heavily onto the living room carpet. Does a loving parent cross their arms, look down with intense disappointment, and scream, "You absolute failure! You've been alive for a year and you still haven't mastered basic human locomotion? You're a fake." Of course not. The parent doesn't focus on the awkward fall. They focus on the magnificent effort. They look at those tiny, outstretched hands reaching up to be lifted again. The universe is not watching your stumble with an angry clipboard. The eyes of grace are fixed entirely on your hands, waiting to see if you will reach up to be pulled out of the mud one more time. Here is the ultimate takeaway for your life moving forward. Your victory does not depend on your ability to never fall. Your victory is determined by your refusal to ever stay down. The shadow only holds power over you when it convinces you that you are the absolute only person fighting this specific monster. That is a total illusion. We are all walking through the exact same valley, fighting different versions of the exact same beast. If you are completely done with letting shame dictate your identity, if you are ready to stop hiding in the corners of your own life, and if you are ready to fight from a position of ultimate victory, I want you to make a definitive psychological marker right now. Go down directly into the comments section of this video and type these 7 specific words. I am still in the fight. No long explanations, no defensive justifications, no lengthy confessions. Just write, I am still in the fight. Consider this a declaration of war against your own despair. It is a loud, ringing signal to the shadows around you that they have not won. A dead body floating down a river cannot speak, cannot type, and cannot protest. But you can. By typing those words, you are proving that there is still oxygen in your lungs, still fire in your heart, and still a fierce determination in your soul. Write it down, close the tab on your past mistakes, and stand back up on your feet. You are not walking this difficult, narrow road alone. If you want to dive deeper into these profound human truths and build an unbreakable internal foundation, hit the subscribe button right now. We are actively assembling a worldwide community of conscious, intentional believers who absolutely refuse to sleepwalk through existence or surrender to their shadows. Stand up, look your struggle in the eyes, and remember, you are still in the fight.